Good morning, everyone. This morning we are going to touch upon a kind of socio-political subject. Subject's title is Breaking Barriers Between Majority Minority. Majority minority clashes are ubiquitously found everywhere in the world, every corner of the globe. You will always find that minorities are always under the subjugation of majority. Majority always has upper hand in every single arena, in every single sphere, whether it is economic sphere or educational sphere or power, plutocracy, whatever. Majority always has upper hand, and minority has always lower hand, so to speak. They don't have any kind of power of plutocracy that majority always enjoys. Wherever you go to Saudi Arabia, go to America, go to Canada, go to Russia, China, come to India, and you go to even smaller entities like Bangladesh, Bhutan, Nepal. Everywhere you are going to see the majority controls every single thing in its tentacle. Minority has to just follow the rules set by majority. They don't have any kind of upper hand at all. Minority has to follow the rules promulgated by majority. Minority has to just dwell upon something that majority does not like to do. Minority has all the manual work. Minority has all kinds of second fiddle status in the society. Minority has always lower income, lower status, lower achievements, lower education, lower kind of food and medicine, and majority has everything posh. Minority has everything, we can say Dr. Giffen's commodities. Dr. Giffen's commodity means poor, cheap commodities. You must have noticed everywhere in the world, wherever you have been, you will always find that minority areas are all dilapidated, minority conditions are all second-handed, minority amenities in minority areas are all second class. Minority areas in the minority localities, the neighborhoods, the facilities, the utilities, every single thing is provided is second-handed. Minority area does not get posh treatment, posh attention. Their roads are not that posh, their facilities are not that posh, their gutter system, the sewer system, the schools, the police station, the police precinct, the hospitals, every single thing in the minority area you are going to see are neglected or dilapidated. But if you go into majority area, you are going to find posh roads, you are going to find shiny roads, shiny buildings, shiny facilities. Every single thing is world class, every single thing is absolutely positively best in quality. Education over there is best. Schools are in their localities are the best. Hospitals are absolutely world class. Every single thing you will find is all Neolithic, absolutely innovative, absolutely upper class. So I have prepared 4 points elaborating my concept of majority having upper hand, minority having lower hand. Majority having everything of world class, minorities having everything hellish, absolutely no touch of any kind of class at all. Point number 1 is barrier of educational opportunities. You visit the minority localities and visit the schools over there, and you're going to find out what kind of education is provided. Teachers are all roly-poly and sleep short. But if you visit in majority, you will find air-conditioned classes, air-conditioned schools with playground, with library, with computer lab. Every single thing would be absolutely state of the art. Teacher would be highly IQ, their IQ would be high, their qualification would be high, there will be experienced people with all kinds of knowledge, like declarative knowledge, procedural knowledge, heuristic knowledge, meta knowledge, and empirical knowledge. Kind of education provided to majority is not the same kind of quality of education provided to minority. And there is a distinct idea behind that. Precise idea is behind that they don't want to impart state-of-the-art education to minority, because otherwise what will happen is that minority would be able, capable, and viable to compete with majority, and the minority will also go ahead. Then the majority, what the authority and the social head henchers don't want this kind of thing to happen. They want minority always treading behind, majority always moving ahead. They want majority to be alpha, minority to be epsilon, delta. So these kind of education opportunities are also absolutely different. The differences between them like night and day, and the reason behind that is that head honchos of the socialites, they want majority to be always alpha, to be always in the leadership, minority always epsilon followers. Point number 2, barriers of bread and butter. Majority always controls industries, farming, wholesale businesses, manufacturing, mining, all kinds of large mega businesses are always controlled by the majority. Majority has the leash of all kinds of state-of-the-art, all kinds of huge mega businesses. Minority always has kind of manual business. They are always either blue-collar workers or fourth category workers. They are seldom, very, very, very seldom, they have white-collar job, but only blue-collar, pink-collar, or fourth category job. They do not control mega businesses. They do not control banking system. They don't control mining. They don't control aviation. They don't control aeronautical. They don't control government. They don't control municipal corporation. They don't control no business with we can say hefty returns. All kinds of minuscule businesses are controlled by minority. Labor work is done by minority. Drudgery is done by minority, because systematically minority people are left totally behind. It's a kind of conspiracy theory and GGT, great game theory, in which majority always hush-hushly decides that we must not provide any kind of opportunity to minority so that they can lift themselves up, so that they can jack up to the jack. And that is conspiracy theory promulgated by majority in all the majority nations in the world where majority minority exists. Point number 3 is barrier of fiscal assistance from government. Government is also very, very biased, prejudiced, and discriminatory against minority. Government's plan is very, very categorical, unequivocal, but hush-hush. The minority People should not be provided this kind of assistance so that they can actually start their own business, start their own manufacturing plant. They can start any kind of small-scale industry. Don't give them any kind of fiscal assistance. If you give them fiscal assistance as much as you give to the majority, then these people are going to compete with majority, and the majority would eventually lose not entire control, but part of the control of the meritocracy and aristocracy to the minority. So keep minority where it belongs. That belonging is behind you. Never let the minority to go ahead of you. In the government offices, minorities are all peons and unsubstantial workers. In businesses, minorities are all laborers, or they are doing drudgery work, or they are doing all labor work. In industries, they are all fourth category workers or third category blue-collar workers. Wherever you go, you are going to find minorities everywhere at the fourth category. Absolutely positively no first category, not even second category, not even third category, but preferably fourth category. And if you find somewhere 1 in 1,000, that would be the token minority. They call it token minority, so they can argue. Majority can argue that no, this is not true. What GS said is not true. We already have minority person like Jain or Buddha or Muslim or Christian or Jew in our office. But in that office you will count 500 heads must be there. Out of 500 heads, only one head, one person would be minority, and they can be branded as symbolic gesture or token gesture. But it is a conspiracy. It is nothing. It is absolutely positively conspiracy theory in which majorities are controlling every single thing under their leash, and minorities are totally left behind ruthlessly, mercilessly, and cruelly. Point number 4 is breaking the barrier of caste, creed, and community. Most of the time, you are going to experience, you are going to witness that minorities always regarded what caste that person is coming from, what creed, religion the person actually follows, and what community that person is hailing from. These are the 3 major criteria by which person is judged. Wherever the majority minority clashes are going on in that nation, minority person is not judged by his education, by his character, by his quality, by nothing. He is judged. If he is coming from minority, then he is judged only by 3 criteria, 3 categories. And these are caste, creed, and community. If you belong to certain caste, follow certain creed, and hailing from certain communities, you are absolutely positively epsilon. You don't belong in government offices. You don't belong in business community. You don't belong in industrial community. You don't belong in professional community. You belong only in labor community, drudgery profession or drudgery type of work. You belong only to the rickshaw pullers community. You belong only to those 4th category workers community. You belong to blue-collar job community. You don't belong to the Upper Silesia people, not even Middle Silesia people, but you actually belong to only the lowest Silesia people. Why? Even if you're educated, even if your IQ is elevated, even if your honesty is unflinchable, even if your capability is out of this world, even if your knowledge is absolutely invincible, still you are not going to get the seat that majority dude will get. Majority will do it. If he is dumber and the dumbest, still he is going to be holding an elevated position and a high position, a vulnerable position. You are vulnerable. You are totally vulnerable just because of your creed, just because of your community, just because of your caste. So, someone has said in English, my crime is only that I was born. My crime is only that I was born. What do you mean by that? Okay, I was born in minority. My crime is only that I was born in minority. That is why I'm in jail. That is why I'm hungry. That is why I'm naked. That is why I don't have roof on my head. Because my crime is that I was born as minority. Remember, guys, Gandhiji has said very beautifully, you cannot change the world, but you can change yourself. You just cannot change the world, but you certainly can change yourself. All my listeners, please change yourself and you are going to change the world. Otherwise, remember, what goes around comes around. For example, I give you a very good example. It would be a little touchy example. Perhaps you are going to be little offended. Take the example of India, in which Hindus are majority. But that Hindu goes to America or in Canada, he becomes minority. So if you maintain majority, minority kind of nasty thinking, then remember, what goes around comes around. If you are going to treat minority people in India as epsilon, that this is waiting for you. When you go to America, Canada for further education or anything, you are going to be treated as epsilon. Remember what I said? What goes around comes around. Whatever kind of treatment you are going to mete out to someone, that someone is going to mete out the same kind of treatment to you. Thank you very much for listening. That's all the time we have. Talk about something else next time. Until then, God bless everyone on this planet. Amen.